You ever been to Japan? You know, the Sunrise Kingdom, the birthplace of many kids' favorite video games growing up? I haven't personally, but I've always wanted to one day go and visit there. The country is filled to the brim with so many beautiful sights, delicious food, wonderful people, but if there's one thing that the Japanese are the GOATs at doing, is animation. Now of course you have your regular old animes that become mainstream, your Dragon Balls, your Narutos, your One Pieces, your Joestars, your Death Notes, the list goes on and on and on, non-stop. It's an endless supply of supercharged action, drama, love, inspiration for so many artists of the Western world. By the way, the Teen Titans are supposed to look like this, not like that. I'm just saying, you did an injustice there. You get it? It's a DC joke. The comic book series that turned into a video game. Oh, I thought it was clever. Leave me alone. Anyways, I digress. You have your mainstream animations, the more obscure animations, but also the just downright one side of the Japanese animation spectacular. For this review, we're going to focus on a short 46-minute film called The Garden of Words, which is an anime drama written, directed, and edited by Makoto Shinkai, and was officially released in May of 2013 in Japan. However, in April of the same year, it was premiered at the Golden Coast Film Festival from Down Under in Australia, funny enough. A tale of mystery, kindness, and understanding for fellow human beings. Ladies and gentlemen, this is The Garden of Words. Hold on to your hats, put your head between your legs, kiss your ass goodbye, and spoiler warning, of course. We're going in deep for this one. We begin the film with what is probably the most gorgeous water effects I think I've ever seen. Just under 40 seconds in and we're getting great animation already. The film is set during the start of a season of rain in Tokyo, and primarily focuses on two characters, but let's start with the first and main one. The first character the film is set on is a 15-year-old high school student named Takao Akazuki, voiced by Patrick Poole, and what's the first thing we find out about him? He loves the rainy season. He states that as a smaller child, the sky seemed to be extremely closer, giving him the sense of the sky? Okay, I gotta say, that line did throw me off a little bit. You got people hopped on weed, cocaine, heroin, those little hard candies you'd find in those tiny boxes that you would use to pretend you were smoking. You know, the ones with the fake tattoos in them that turned out crap half the time. I didn't think you could get high off water that was condensed from atmospheric water vapor. Shit, I should probably try this new drug called clouds and sky. But again, I digress. None of that's the point. When it does rain in the mornings, however, the little boy doesn't transfer on another train to get to his first class. Instead, he exits the station gates and makes his way to the Garden Shinjuku Guen? Okay, before the weebs in anime profile pics try to burn me at the body pillow stake like some kind of witch hunt parade, let me just throw a disclaimer. I'm not Japanese, I'm not an anime watcher most of the time, and I'm not good at pronouncing these things, so before you go all Weeaboo Jones on my ass, just be aware of that. One morning, he goes to the park and notices a woman sitting on her own, skipping work, drinking beer, and eating chocolate, but apparently to Takao, the woman seems familiar. You can't quite picture where from, however. Ooh, just you wait until the end of the film. While sitting with the woman, Takao appears to be drawing shoe designs, which we find out throughout the film that this is his main dream, to become a shoemaker. The woman is called Yukari Yukino, voiced by Maggie Flecknell, and she notices the school crest on Takao's uniform, and leaves the scene and Takao with a tanka, which is a form of Japanese poetry, saying, "A clap of thunder, clouded skies, perhaps rain comes. If so, will you stay here with me?" This one tanka will prove to be a very important plot point in the story. And what anime film wouldn't be complete without a classic food making scene? As I record this, my stomach has started to do the rumblings. Takao's brother then appears as he comes back from work. Literally, that's how he's credited, Takao's brother, nothing else. It's kinda weird that we never find out his name, let alone his mother's name, who Takao says went out after his brother asked where she is. The brother then states that the mother seems to be more focused on her love life more than her family life. This is after he tells her that he'll be moving in with his girlfriend, which apparently triggers the crazy bitch.
I don't like where this is going.
She is a 47-year-old woman who dates people her sons' ages.
Stop!
If that's true, she's gonna end up either looking like a hoe, or worse, a paedophile, considering both of her sons are aged 26 and 15 respectively. Takao eventually runs into Yukino once again and starts to draw up her feet. Okay, can I be honest here? Throughout this film's entirety, I just thought he had a foot fetish. I honestly did. Don't look at the screen like that, mate. He even does it without her even knowing. What was I supposed to think? During the rainy season, both Yukino and Takao meet up with each other a ton, which then upgraded to a fuck ton, and eventually, he tells Yukino of his shoemaking dreams, stating that he has never told anyone about his dreams before. However, this in turn backfires on him, as Takao is constantly late to his school and work. He then gives off this narrative speech saying that his dreams will get him out of his world and into the world of the working, and that Yukino represents everything from that world. More water effects! Later on, Yukino speaks of being really shy and states that about her ex believing in the rumors, all the little whispers. Now this is really important. Lock this info in the back of your brain and just hold it there, because trust me on this. She gives Takao a shoemaking book that he needs in order to make the shoes in the right manner. He says he's already making a pair already, and he's not sure whose yet, but they belong to a woman. What happens next? He measures out Yukino's feet so he can make custom shoes for her. That's nice, bit creepy, but it's kind of nice. He also states that he doesn't know of where she works, her age, or why she's even there in the first place, asking himself, why is she in pain? One can wonder, but one does not simply head into the unknown. He can't stop thinking about her. Whether or not that is a good thing remains to be seen. God, there's so much about the film I want to talk about, but I'll save it until the conclusion. The rainy season eventually comes to a close, leaving Yukino wishing that it would have lasted longer, despite being glad Takao is not skipping class. And speak of the devil, Takao helps his brother and his brother's girlfriend, again, that's how they are credited, to move into their new apartment. His brother talks about how Takao's shoemaker dreams are just stupid. Dick move, Takao's brother. Dick move. Summer vacation officially begins, but Takao never spends a day of it doing what he wishes. Instead, he goes to work, washing dishes every single night and being a waiter. And in between all this, Yukino is still stuck at the park wishing for it to rain just so that she can see him. But they then notice each other at Takao's school. Takao's then asked by his bestest friend if he knew about Yukino quitting, but he denies even knowing about her. So that was a fucking lie. Turns out Yukino was leaving the school because of rumors being spread around about her by some young bratty popular girls. Pretty much the school bitches, if you will. The rumors apparently got to Yukino's parents. Jesus Christ, everyone knows everyone in this movie. All because one of the girl's boyfriends thought that she was good looking. Takao then confronts said school bitch and fucking straight up slaps her mouth off in front of her friends group. Takao then gets his ass kicked by a pretty big lad. I kinda laughed at it because it reminded me of the Falcon Punch. Takao then goes to the park afterwards and runs into Yukino. Surprised yet? They keep meeting up? He then provides an answer to Yukino's tanka, saying, a faint clap of thunder. Even if rain comes not, I will stay here, together with you. Yeah, pretty sappy shit. Oh my god, it's a storm! More water effects! They end up going back to Yukino's place where they can dry off, warm up, and have some lovely food, and express that this is the happiest time of their lives. Takao then finishes the ritual of the simp by confessing his love to Yuki. Wait a second. This is pretty much a simp story. Man falls in love with girl, does anything to see her, protects her name. Have you not seen the goddamn memes, Takao? Who likes a gentleman, am I right, lads? Am I right, ladies? Obviously, I take the piss. It's good to fall in love when it's at the right time. But in the case of Takao, reality unfortunately sets in. She tells him she'll be moving back to her hometown in Shikoku, saying she's practicing how to walk on her own, even if she's just barefoot, and wants to thank Takao for all he's done. Takao then excuses himself, having now been fully aware of who Yukino actually is, and kind of throws a bit of a hissy fit. Yukino then realizes what's going on and decides to run after Takao, eventually catching up with him. But as we can see, he's not a very happy bunny. He basically rants about how wrong what Yukino was doing, hiding her true self away from him, and to be honest, who can really blame him? He accuses Yukino of not believing in his dreams and stringing him along. Yukino, who is probably in the most distraught I've ever seen in an animation, cannot take it anymore, and embraces Takao, telling him how she waited every morning of the rainy season to see him, but she was so scared of revealing her true self that he saved her from her inner thoughts, her feelings of numbness to anything apart from the taste of alcohol and chocolate. The two hug it out, and the scene pans out to a beautiful view of the city. We find out that Takao had barely scraped passing his exams, stating that every layer of leather he would put onto his shoes, he always wondered how she was doing. The film ends with a post-credits scene during the winter season. The park is covered in snow, and Takao arrives at the very same spot where he and Yukino would sit. He reaches into his bag to pull out a pair of women's shoes. The shoes that he had custom made just for Yukino. He realizes that he was learning to walk as well. He is human after all. He fell down but got back up, much like Yukino. He was on his own path, much like Yukino. And he hopes that one day, his path will lead him back to her. And that's all she wrote for Garden of Words. I'm not much one for anime, but I know when to appreciate a work of art, and Garden of Words is definitely no exception. Like I said before, there is so much that I want to talk about for this one movie, so many things to cover, but yet so little time. The story of it was a little bit confusing at first, but like many other films, once you get into the story, the more the pieces of the puzzle fit together, and therefore you can understand the direction better. Much like a light switch, it just takes the one hint to then clock on. It's a simple yet complicated drama surrounding these two people who know so much about each other and yet so little at the exact same time. I love that in the film. A simple concept that is written to absolute greatness, providing so many plot points, so many callbacks to previous scenes with so many possible directions. That's what makes it complicated in the best way. It makes you think about what could be going on here. Shinkai really nailed the flow of the film. Slow start, speeding things up a little bit with montages, and then on possibly the most emotional ending I've seen for a very long time. The direction never seemed to stray far away from Takao or Yukino. Yes, the film introduces us to so many other characters, but it never loses focus on the two main attractions. Each character had their own story, but again, the film doesn't need to detour from the main characters for the sake of plot point. The plot writes itself in a nutshell. Even if the extras had a couple seconds of screen time, they had their story written out for us, and I fucking admire that. Whether it would have been the story of Takao's mother being a bit of a whore, or Yukino's ex helping her out with leaving the school despite hearing about the rumors, each of them had their own arc. The visuals in this film, fuck me, they are stunning to look at. Like I said at the beginning, the Japanese are the goats when it comes to animation. The water effects are a perfect example. Most mainstream animated films that try to recreate such effects normally come out as lackluster, or just downright embarrassing. That's not to say that the Western world is incapable of creating a masterclass worth of artwork, but I have yet to see effects much like how Shinkai does it. The views of the city, the colors of the sky, the reflections, absolutely done to a T. It's honestly some of the most perfect visual arts that I have ever had the pleasure to witness. My jaw was just stuck in awe, wide open from seeing this. I mean, just look at it. God, it's so well done, man. The voice acting, considering I watched the English dub, was honestly superbly performed. You can hear the strain in the voices when the character is angry, you can hear the smugness when the character was talking about someone in a sarcastic manner, or even the inaudible finding it difficult to talk when crying, catching their breath. They do it brilliantly. But one thing I really want to talk about is the music. You can just tell that the composers put their hearts and souls into it, especially during the montages and the ending scene. Music is a very important aspect when it comes to, well, pretty much any form of media nowadays. If the music doesn't fit, then the emotion is not there and it makes it feel forced out. But with Garden of Words, I felt the sadness, I felt the anger, I felt the absolute despair when Yukino broke down into Kao's arms. The music just helped bring out the emotion, especially the wind instruments. I don't know, I just love music, man. And the credits song too, fucking beautiful. I love the sound design, the visual design, every single design you can consider. Count me as a lover of it. Quick side note, how I rate these films out of 10 from now on will be based on a genre that they are from. Taking into account the story, the art style, sound design, acting, all of that is how I shall review these films going forward. If Garden of Words has taught me anything, it would definitely be to chase your dreams where you can, but you have to stay in reality rather than losing yourself in some kind of fantasy world. People do care at the end of the day, even if it's just one person walking into a park and talking to you, or even if someone just smiles at you and takes the time to ask how you are. Things get tough. Life gets tough inevitably, and you may fall down, but sometimes you gotta learn to crawl before you can walk, and you gotta master how to walk in order for you to start running. Never lose hope. You are important, and that should be all that matters at the end. Don't listen to what others say about you in a harmful manner, because it's in those moments that make us or break us. It's up to us how we in fact take it all in and use it as fuel to fire us up. Out of 10, this film gets a big 8.25 out of 10. Why doesn't it get higher? Being honest, I need to watch more like this so that I can then determine differences and whether or not it's any better. Pretty much, I need to get educated. Film was fucking amazing, however. I would highly recommend this if you want to go through a simple but complicated journey.